Ah, there we go. I've never streamed on this account before, so bear with. Okay, good. We are all up and running. So, yes. Hello, my name is Liam. I will be covering your commentary for this stint. If I sound a little bit quiet, it's 1 AM where I am. There's other people sleeping in the house, so yeah, I've made the cars a bit quieter, hopefully got the microphone just a bit closer to my mouth so you can understand me. But yeah, this is Stint 6. I apologise for the delays. I don't normally stream on this account, my AXR account. I was sort of drafted in quite late due to a switch around in some people's schedules. So I was meant to host the last stint and then drive in Stint 8, but I've got to calm this stint, have a break in Stint 7, and then drive in Stint 8. So this has become an all-nighter for me. I was hoping to be taking a bit of a power nap right now. But no, here we are, Stint 8. And let me just check in on Stint 5 and see how things are going. Because I saw Bobby had taken the lead from... No, so... Clockwork Motorsport have taken back the lead of Stint 5, and they, providing nothing changes late on, they will have won every stint so far. They are one of very, very few teams to have had no issues, though. Some have had minor issues like pits for damage, and others have had full-scale issues like disconnects and DNSs. This team being one of them. Their driver's PS4 kind of imploding on them before their own stint, and there was no available replacement, but as of the end of Stint 4, they sit in P4. I think about a minute and a half, a minute 40 off the podium. So it's not all over. The podium is still absolutely doable for the Full Throttle Racing team. As I think we're about to get going. Or is that just maybe your sort of 30-second warning? There's the New Wave team with their livery, that's all I'm really going to call it. That dead start out, orange and green, yeah, it was pretty bad. And then they changed it, and then they changed it again, and then they changed it again, and it was a different colour every week in the Discord. Yes, Group C around Fuji. This will be hours 15 to 18, the 6th stint. Despite this being the 6th stint, this is the first time we've seen some of the drivers, first time we've seen this man here, FTR Rotary. We've also not seen this man, ARC Thunderpig, up until yet in the ATG and I team. I think everyone else we've seen so far. So can Clockwork continue the reign? It is Clockwork in P1, AXR in P2, the THG, I'm not even sure what the individual teams are called, but THG in P3 with this car, the Porsche, which was driven by Tom in the last stint, now being driven by TSO48, and then the aforementioned Full Throttle Racing in 4th place. So a fight still on for the podium with just 9 hours of racing to go. There we go, the final will start. Apologies for no music, I don't drive with music so it turns it off here too. Well, you can slightly hear it's a little bit quiet. There is your grid for hours 15 to 18. I do apologise, this always happens for some reason. And then we go, it's a rolling start, it's okay. This, for some reason, always happens to me. I have to back out or I can't change who I'm watching or what, so I do apologise. I will get this back up ASAP and you will miss none of the action. There we go. So Timlor straight into the lead. That is Groot already looking at Bobby, although he might have to watch out for FTR Rotary coming around the outside. That one's not going to work. Is he going to face pressure from TSO 40 now? This is the first lap's the best chance to make up places, but of course you're racing the stopwatch, not actually who's around you. For example, the P1 car in second is nowhere near second in reality. Oh, as they've ghosted. Bobby has passed the P1 car. They've picked up a penalty. Oh, Groot getting very sideways. FTR Rotary getting caught up just behind it. They're going to go side by side down to the chicane. Groot is going to have the inside. So FTR Rotary went quite hot, but he might make that stick around the outside. He has. Nearly got squeezed by Pilgrim. Now can TSO 40 pass Groot. It's 2 places down for AXR on lap 1. What about P1 Pilgrim? Is he next up for FTR Rotary and TSO 40? MRC Bobby, I don't know if that's actually Bobby driving. He's got 2 accounts in this event, because I think Rice Asylum are racing from 2 locations rather than everyone in their own host. But Timler already 3 seconds into the lead. And FTR Rotary and TSO 40 have already passed Pilgrim. There's a car, that's the THG America's car, I believe, going into the pits. Oh, we're 3 wide into turn 1. And now FTR Rotary gets that one. Oh, TSO 40 and Pilgrim, some contact. Down towards turn 3. Oh, that's Callie. My heart dropped. I thought that was Groot for a second. I was like, please no, we're sitting in second place. But no, that was Callie dropping it. And now Groot is coming to have a look at Pilgrim. And he's going to have the momentum. He's going to go around the outside and will have that surely towards the chicane. No retaliation from Pilgrim. So up to P5 for Groot. And now who sits after MRC Bobby? Whoever is actually racing on that account. And Groot has picked himself up a penalty, presumably at the chicane. Now Thunderpeg is on the back of Pilgrim, so Pilgrim is a bit of a sitting duck these first few laps. Oh, but Thunderpeg didn't have a good exit there. Yeah, Kevin has already been into the pits, and I think... Yeah, so is Hatton, so maybe those two have come together. Oh, and now Callie is in the pits. Falcon now is front end damage, so a good bit of damage in these first few laps. TSO 40 trying to close down on Ethan Graham for P3. Step on the podium in this stint. Of course, that team of the Full Throttle Racing Porsche, what that team is now, was the winners of the last 24-hour race, the AXR Nürburgring 24 Hours. I was part of that team, and they've had a very good effort so far, barring the issues that were bestowed upon them in Stint 4, and they probably would have been sitting in second place right now. But what can they get? They obviously want back on the podium. Can they make it second? I think after the previous stint, they're about 3 minutes behind second place. But in 9 hours of racing, you never know. Someone could get damaged, someone could disconnect. Let's hope Groot doesn't disconnect, because he's the lobby host, and then we have a huge mess. But Timler is off already. 2 1 minute 25.5s. Bobby 1:26.5. Rotary 26.3. TSO 40 26.2. Does he have a look into turn 1? Not quite close enough. Looks right now like TSO 40 just has a little bit more pace, but we've seen it is quite difficult to get past here. I don't know if it's dirty or what. I kind of had a lonely stint when I drove in Stint 3. The next car ahead was about a minute ahead, the next car behind was about a minute. So I don't know how dirty air affects these cars, but it has been seen to be pretty hard to overtake so far. The main straight down into T1 or this chicane, probably your best chances. Oh, I thought that was a look for TSO40. Might have just been a bit wide in the entry from rotary. But it's giving him a better exit. The Porsche looking a very good car here. Of course, Clockwork have made it work like clockwork. It's been impeccable, winning every stint so far. I mean, it's going to take a lot to stop Timler in this stint. He's pretty formidable behind the wheel, stuck it on pole by 0.8 of a second. You can hear the Mazdas over everything else. I mean, who needs caffeine or Red Bull at 1 in the morning when you've got a quad rotor screaming at you? I think that would do my head in for 6 hours of driving, personally. Do love the car. So very close group all the way down from P6 to P10 of Pilgrim, Thunderpig, Corey, Falcon and Noxie. And you've got the 3 we saw have accidents early on, or needed to pit: Kevin, Callie and Hatton. I think, yeah, Falcon had front end damage. Still doing okay lap times. We've seen people get damage and have it a lot worse than this, although I'm sure front end in these things isn't the worst to get. I think rear end would be pretty hard to drive, and of course you never want engine or suspension. Check further on. And these two are catching Bobby in the meantime. I think that was nearly 2 seconds. Yeah, 126.3, 127.0, so 7/10 out that lap. So the gap was nearly 2 seconds. Taking a chunk out of it. Are they going to just work together to get Bobby and then resolve it between them? A slide for rotary out of turn 1. These cars are very, very hard to drive. Very tail happy, want to kill you at any possible mistake. Thunderpeg just slightly dropping the cars behind, maybe due to Falcon having aero damage. But Thunderpeg... sorry, no, I read that wrong. I thought Thunderpeg had got through. No, he's the car behind Pilgrim. So I think Falcon actually passed Corey on that last lap. Good God, those bastards. And it is Kevin for, I believe that's the THG America's team. Oh, with a big wiggle out of turn 5. He has Callie, who is about half a second a lap quicker right now for the ODC team, who've had a quiet but steady set of stints. No disconnect, but no world-beating pace. But sometimes that's what you need. You just need to keep it out of trouble. That's what happened to our aforementioned winners last time, Team FTR, that I was a part of. It was a different name back then. We weren't necessarily the quickest, but we kept out the wall the most, and we won. Of course, due to the troubles of others, you see now the likes of Acupax Racing, they sat in P2. I don't think they've stepped on a podium in any of the stints, but they find themselves P2 with about 2 minutes back to the next car. But of course, those next 2 cars behind are TSO40 and Rotary, who both look very quick this stint. These guys must be close to Bobby. Yeah, they're all in a queue of 3. So 3 teams that all fell to issues. Race Asylum disconnected from the first 2 stints. FTR had a DNS in stint 4, and THG, again, not sure what individual team that is, there's a couple of them, But they had a disconnect in stint 1, I believe, and that was maybe a look down the inside of Rotary. But Rotary still had a good exit. The Sauber hasn't proved to be that amazing down the straight. This could be a sitting duck for the Porsche. And as Rotary is going to go through. What does Bobby think about a switchback? He does. He's going to go around the outside into turn 3. Doable, but brave. Do you want to risk that with a couple hours left of racing? Bobby's still fighting back. He's not giving it up. Fair play to him. He keeps his P2. He knows he hasn't got the pace, but why not try and impede your rivals? As Rotary goes for a move into the chicane, TSO40 follows. That was close. Again, Timler's here, already 12 seconds ahead. Look at the consistency, 25, 5, 6, 5, 6, 5, 5. There's about a tenth in his last 6 laps. Of course, these guys have all been stuck up and battling, but Timler in his previous stint lapped the entire field to go along with his pole position of 8 tenths from the next car. Just putting a stamp on what Clockwork Motorsport can do. Does Bobby think about another move? If it even is Bobby, I'm not sure which of the race sound drivers are driving. But no move for Bobby this time. Now with Bobby tucked up behind Rotary. That's going to help pull Bobby away from TSO40. Of course, it's probably a case of when, not if, TSO40 manages to get through. But this fight behind Thunderpig has got through in Pilgrim. They've dropped Corey, a 134 on lap 7. Tells you why. Oh, and Falcon goes for the late switch. Oh, and Noxie's gone flying off the track. Looks like they scattered every which way. Maybe Pilgrim broke early and caught them out. But it has put Corey on the back of Noxie, and that might put Corey ahead of Noxie, potentially. It does, he goes ahead. And, Kevin has found some pace. He's managing to match and start to go quicker than Callie. Hatton, of course, with the early accident, he's running medium ABS, okay, or weak, or whatever it's called. You don't see many people running that. And TSO40 is now through. So now him and Rotary can fight away for second place. Because, I mean, even this early on, I don't think much can be done about Timler. Barring him making a mistake. Of course, we saw Storm Pacer make a mistake in the last stint and nearly throw it away, letting Bobby through. But Clockwork Motorsport have won every single stint so far. They're about to make it 6 from 6. They've got 6 hours left to go to potentially make it 8 from 8 and take a clean sweep. Pole and every single stint win. Which would be incredible. You just have to take your hat off to that. It's some incredible consistency in the pace shown by the whole team. Is this TSO40's chance? Rotary goes to the right. TSO40 doesn't choose to follow. Maybe signalling that he doesn't want to fight. Get a bit of a gap away from Bobby before you fight. Of course, you've just done all that hard work re-overtaking him. Why battle and throw away 2-3 seconds and let him back through? I guess might be what TSO40 is thinking. Groot settling down into what seems to be potentially a quiet race. Who knows what he can do about Bobby? Potentially later on in the stint, Bobby has only just lost the toe from the cars ahead. There's Thunderpig and Falcon ahead of Pilgrim. And Corey and Noxie fighting at it. And oh, and here comes Kevin. He's having a go at VRC Sauber. Himself and going off last lap at a 1:34. And what about Callie? I said the ODC team having quite a quiet day, but no issues, they're getting through it all. Which is half the battle to getting a good result. Now, this is the closest TSO40's been. Did he left or did he go for a bump draft? No, he goes for the overtake. Or he fights it around the outside. It's possible around there with the way these cars work with their traction, but no, it looks like TSO40's through. He's going to have to face an attack in turn 3. No. Rory thinks better of that one. You can go around the outside there, but you need quite a bit of a pace advantage. Some differing lines through 4. And then to 5, a deceiving corner. Depending on your angle and whatnot, it can be a bit of an auto-spin curb on the exit. Says for everyone just joining, I do apologise, I might be a bit quiet. It's 1 in the morning and there's people sleeping, so it was this or no stream, so it's the best we can do for you. The original commentators had a change in schedule and no one was free, so Rob annoyingly asked me could I do this as well as race Stint 8, so it's an all-nighter for me. TSO40 is now pulled the gap out, he's out of slipstream. Bobby has a penalty. Timler up to 15.5 seconds. Going purple, he's set a 25.3, which I'll tell you now, on starting field loads is crazy. You see some of the fastest people only really doing that once the fuel starts to burn down. There's Thunderpig. Kevin has worked his way up to P8 now, so I think Pilgrim has fallen back as well. That car that I believe started around the front row. Is that Corey having a look at Pilgrim? Oh, sorry, it's Noxie. Oh, no, it is Corey. That just doesn't look like a THG car to me. I associate THG with blue. So it just threw me a little bit. Yeah, THG Corey. It's like seeing an Acapax car that isn't purple, you know? It's just wrong. Oh, as he goes for movement, turn 5. So you're going to make it stick. Pilgrim is the outside line, which is arguably the better line for traction. Can Noxie get involved? Oh, he does. He thinks about the move, backs out of it. And what's happened to Corey? I didn't quite catch that. I don't know, did he have a moment with his pad or wheel or whatever he's on, or whether he had to quickly get out of his gaming seat or what to do something, who knows, but... And now it looks like his top 4 is probably just going to fan out a little bit. Thunderpig, first time we've seen him sitting P6. Last lap was slower than Groot, but his previous lap before that was quicker. Groot saying he's going for consistency and keeping it on the track before pace. And Hatton finds himself in the unfavourable position of being about 13 seconds off being lapped. Of course, he had to pit early on due to damage. A couple of cars picking up damage in the opening lap. Purple again for Timler. Well, TSO 40, 25.6. We know how fast that man is. We've seen him in plenty of these races. Oh, apologies. Plenty of these races of AXR, plenty of THG races. We know how quick he is, and he's now going purple. So those two seem to be the pace setters, mid-25s. Fastest of a 26.2 for Rotorite. Don't see Bobby's, but he's got a 26.4 in there, so I imagine it's something similar. 26.8 for Schouler. So we're 15 laps in and we're already starting to get some fanning out. Although these lot look close. Callie, Noxie and Pilgrim. Callie with a 1:30, maybe that's why they're close. I think he should pull away again. Oh, and that's a couple of laps now that's not gone well for Corey. A 1:30, a 1:35 and a 1:38. So something's gone on there. Hatton is catching him. And Bobby has started to slowly reel Rotary in. On 26.1 to 26.6, so half a second on the last lap. As we have SDM Splash in the chat saying, let's go AXR. Team that's set in second. Team that I'm a part of. Didn't want to be calming this stint, but I can't. It was that or no comms. I wanted to be sleeping right now, have a little nap before stint 8 where I'm back in the car. There's Timler, just crazy consistency. I don't know if AXR do drug tests, but he might need one. TSO 40 been quite consistent since he got through. His last two laps being 25.6s. What about this gap here? Bobby is catching on Rotary. He's almost in the slipstream. Sauber hasn't been that quick in a straight line from what we've seen in the previous stints. He's starting to slowly gain now. I don't know if he's in a lower fuel mode or what. He's really gaining now, but it's a bit too late in the straight. The number 69 and the number 420 cars fight each other. I mean, this was just gonna happen, wasn't it? I'm afraid of missing battles. I was watching Stegs in the previous stint. Brilliant commentator. And he was just missing out in the battles, so you kind of want to watch this one because it's probably the closest one on track. But then you realise there might be some fighting slightly lower down the field. It's probably not going to be a movement here. We'll check further back. Underpeg, pretty much matching group. You got Falcon, Kevin, Callie, Noxie, Pilgrim, Colrate, who started to put some laps together, 27 and 28 after his couple of shockers. Hatton, 127s, but you see Timler in the background. So going a lap down is not far away already. Of course, as we said, some cars got damage early on. No attack again from Bobby this lap. Looked like a bad sector 3. Again at mid-25s. Mid-25, but Timler is purple by 0.2. This man is threatening to get close to 24s on race starting conditions. Now, as for pit stops, the most likely thing we're going to see is a 3-stop, where you pit sort of every 31 laps, with a couple of 32 lap stints thrown in there. We've seen some people try a 2-stop, where you do sort of 42 laps stint. It's usually either failed or they've backed out of it. 25.2 for Tim Lort, so a bit of time lost in the final sector. But nonetheless, incredible pace. What can TSO40 respond with? 25.7. And these two out of slipstream range again for Bobby. Yeah, I was about to say, I think Thunderpeg's had a bad lap somewhere, a 1:30.0. Falcon still trooping around with the front aero damage. I'm not sure how much that loses on a car like these, but I imagine a lot less than rear aero or suspension damage, and obviously a lot less than engine damage. Kevin and Callie have slightly closed in. Callie ever so slightly quicker on the last lap. The Mazda has proved to be an absolute monster in a straight line. There's Noxie, Pilgrim, Corey and Hatton chasing them down, but there's Timlor just a few seconds back. So on lap 20 or 21, whenever he gets them, he might put a lap in the book. But these two, this is the closest we've seen Bobby for a while. Oh, but he gets a big slide. Does that lose him too much? Very differing lines. Rotary taking the wide and cutting in. That's the line I take, and then Bobby taking the just sort of early apex. I prefer the line Rotary takes. There is Team ATG&I. A sort of mock-up Gulf livery on the Sauber C9. A friend of mine, Jerry Bear, in that team. There is Team Meep Meep. I think they ran out of ideas for team names. Well, now Callie is quite close to Kevin. Kevin, in all his stints for the GHG Team Americas, has been putting in a solid effort. And these two start fighting, Corey and Hatton. Here comes Tim Lort. He's going to go around the outside of Hatton. And it'll only be a matter of time before he has Corey. Now these two, half a second again. Doesn't seem like there's much the Sauber can do in a straight line, and it's very hard to follow through that final sector. Oh, this is the best run he's had. Is it going to be enough? He's going to try. Oh, and misses the corner. But not too much harm done. Only 7/10 back. Of course, it's not ideal. But he'll know now for next time, if he mounts another assault, where to brake and what he can and can't do. What about Kevin and Callie? Again, no assault from Callie this lap. Nissan versus Mazda, the two Japanese cars in this. And we see Falcon in. Maybe he's just... Oh my god. Maybe he's just had enough of the damage, because that's quite early to make a pit stop. Takes on tyres and not much fuel. Oh, and Corey goes deep. That's going to allow Hatton through. Oh, no. No, they touch. Corey went hot, Hatton followed him, and they sort of met in the middle. I think Hatton was trying to wait, but he's not gonna now. I'm sure if THG feel aggrieved, they can report it and it'll be looked at in the coming days after the race. Of course, in a race like this, if you get time penalties, you're not looking at your standard 5 seconds, 10 seconds, you know, you're looking at 30 seconds a minute. So penalties are quite extreme, but of course, so are the gaps. You know, you usually get maybe a couple minutes between teams at times, or if you're the case of Clockwork, a couple of laps. They've had no troubles with internet, with car, or with pace. And they sit P1 with many, many laps on the rest of the field. They could probably disconnect and still win. I do apologise if I occasionally just go quiet. It's 1 AM and I've not slept, so you know, I need to keep refreshing myself with drinks. And said drinks also make me required to take breaks. We've not needed one yet. Does Bobby have another go? He's a little further back, thinks better of it. On board with the Sauber driver. These cars are not designed for corners like this. These are designed to just fly down the Mulsanne as fast as they can. Technically not that Porsche, it's a higher downforce spec. But all of these cars were just how fast can they go down the Mulsanne, not how can they tackle a bunch of off-camber corners at Fuji. So you can see just how much everyone's sort of squirreling around. Oh, as Bobby does the same. Normally see a race like this in Group 3s or Group 2s or the 2016 LMP cars. And they're just planted on the road, they don't even think about twitching. These, you really, really have to drive. Callie has made his way past Kevin for P7 and P8. There's Hatton and Corey, who came together a lap ago. I think that's TSO40 coming to lap them. I think Corey's not going to get in the way of THG's car that has the best chance. And he doesn't. He gets nicely out the way at the chicane. There's a P1 Pilgrim and a Falcon are close together. Falcon, who just made a pit stop a couple of laps ago. Two 787Bs, just a symphony of noise. Falcon to the outside. Does he go all the way around the outside? He doesn't get it stopped. Does he get some sort of switchback though? He's going to be alongside. Can he go around the outside into 3? Oh, again, thinks better of that. Takes a better line through 4. Now, oh, this is a brilliant battle. Oh, a little bit of contact at 5. Tim Lort is probably just looking at this thinking, why now? Please no. As I think he'll get past P1 Pilgrim now. That sort of separated this battle. What about further up front? Bobby had a poor last lap, 28.7. He's pulled... Sorry, Rotary has pulled away from Bobby. I was about to say it the other way around. Meanwhile, still in the 25s for Timler at 25.2 last lap. You compare T so far, he's slipped into the 26s. Rotary is in the 27s. Bobby is in the, well, mainly 27s apart from last lap. He is showing no signs of those tyres being 26 laps old. Well, his last lap, of course, he was held up by traffic on 27.7. We saw him get stuck in that fight. As Bobby is not racing, I now have understood this is Philo. He says he's trying to pass Rotary, but Rotary is lagging like mad. I haven't seen that on stream yet. It does look a little unnatural in the corners, but I don't think it would put me off. Who knows? Maybe it was happening while we weren't looking. These things can just blip like that. We are just sort of spreading out now. Rotary and Bobby are the closest two on track. Maybe that explains why Bobby lost some time Philo lost some time if for him, or when we weren't looking, if Rotary was having connection issues. Now he's adding on traffic. Timler back in the 25s. So depending on strategy, expect to see people pit in the next few laps, starting around lap 29, lap 30, for the 3-stop strategy, which definitely seems to be the optimum way. Like I say, some have tried the 2, and it's either failed or they've backed out at a midway house and sort of been stuck in between the 2, having to do some janky stint lengths. Now it's TSO40's turn at lapping Hatton. Is Hatton going to let him go on the inside? No, he has to wait until after the chicane. He's going to get through on the inside for this right-hander though. Oh, there's contact. I don't know if Hatton didn't realise he was there, but it's not like he can miss the big blue flag warnings. You can still hear the Mazdas. The next cars are about 16 seconds behind, and you can hear the Mazdas. Philo, aka Bobby, is starting to pull back in towards Rotary. Now that we actually know who it is, we know how good a driver Philo can be. Oh, that's a big sideways for Rotary. But Race Asylum not quite able to capitalise on it. Not a good exit. If you excuse me, I will be back in a couple of minutes. I will leave you with his battle. I need to take a quick break. And hopefully nothing crazy happens while we're not looking. I hadn't actually gone away, I was just opening my drink before going to the bathroom. Looks like Rotary conceded the place. Maybe he was relayed that he was lagging, or he maybe just thought, I can't be bothered with this car trying to attack me all the time, just go. Maybe now that Philo's clear, he might make some progress. Is it going to be enough to make any sort of impact on TSO40? I doubt he's going to make any sort of impact on Timler. I mean, we're on lap 29 and he's still doing the same times as he was when we started the stint. That's incredible. Most people are about a second off by now. Him and TSO40, both incredible drivers. TSO40 has had a couple of laps in the 26s recently, got himself back into the 25s. Well, yes, now that that battle has resolved itself, who can we watch? Who have we not given much time to? Let's watch the ODC car while I take a quick break. Alrighty, what have we missed? Have we had someone pit? No. Thought we had, but Timler is in the pits on lap 30. Does TSO40 follow? He does. What about these two? The dogfight for third. Philo's made a bit of a gap. He's done a 26 in the last lap. Something that Rotary hasn't. So he did have the pace all along to pull away. And Race Asylum don't respond. Nor do FTR. Where does TSO40 come out? He's gonna come out just beside Philo. I'm sure Philo would have enough sense not to attack a car that's effectively a pit stop ahead. He's got to focus on beating the stopwatch and pulling out a gap to Rotary. Philo had the pace all along, just couldn't use it. He's going half a second quicker now that he's in free air. He was 9/10 quicker than Rotary on the last lap. But when did both of them respond? What is the fuel situation? Like, Rotary has slightly more. He's worn out his front tyres a lot more than Bobby. Philo, I don't know what to call them. So that's probably where some of the pace difference is. I'm not sure how they have that poor setup or what the brake balance is, but it is wearing its fronts a lot more than the Race Asylum machine, who is in the process of lapping Corey. You can see the FTR machine struggling a lot through the third sector. I don't think those front tyres can take much more. They go for another lap though. There goes Bobby, past THG Corey. Oh, Was that a hit, or did they just get really, really close? 2 seconds. I'm going to just double check something. How is the fundraiser going on? Because of course all of this is for Jackie Stewart's charity, Race Against Dementia. We are currently at £518. Hopefully we beat last year's total. I'm not entirely sure what that was. Groot could probably tell you, but he is racing. Yeah, we beat the initial target of 500. It's been upped to 750. Who knows, more commentators, drivers, spectators might continue to donate during the race and after the race. I might stay up for a couple of days after. And Groot has been being caught by Thunderpig. I think it will be pit stop lap for a bunch of these guys. It is for the Race Asylum machine. It also is for FTO. That was very close to contact with Corey on the pit entry. I don't know if there was actually contact or what, but I'm sure Corey didn't expect it. He's probably thinking I was just taking my own speed in and I've been clattered into. Just waiting for Tim Lord to set some sort of crazy lap. Now that he's got some fresh tyres and low fuel, he might have lapped Kevin on this lap. How have the gaps changed? Bobby to rotary about the same. Both fresh tyres. They might have taken a little bit of fuel. I think they have. Of course, you can get away in the first pit stop without pitting. Thunderpig has taken some fuel. Of course, some people like to take fuel at each stop. Or in the first stop, they like to take a little bit, make their second stop that couple of seconds shorter. Some people don't. They like to have the car as light as possible. And how far are these guys off lead? 47 seconds for Bobby. That'll be about 49 for rotary. I don't think Timler's going to lap everyone. I think he could lap up to third place. I don't know if TSO 40 is lappable. Maybe if TSO 40 makes some sort of mistake. There is Callie, still yet to pit on lap 33. Will he come in this lap? Or is he trying a two-stop? Or just having a long first stint to save the rest? He's not in yet. There is Falcon. He's a second behind Thunderpig, but he is kind of out of sync. Most of these guys are on brand new tyres. His are already 13 laps old. Kevin doing a fantastic job. There it is, 1:25.0 from Timler. I'm sure 24 isn't far away. We have the VRC car of Noxie in 10th. New Wave in 11th with Hatton. P1 in 12th. And THG in 13th with Corey, who of course had an incident with Hatton earlier. Who has not pitted. Has Pilgrim pitted? I don't think he has. So a couple cars still yet to pit. Falcon is out of sync. Callie has not pitted yet. Low 25s for these guys. What do Bobby and Rotary have in response? 25.6. 25.8. That's the joy of brand new tyres. Brand new tyres, and you never have to have a full tank again. Most you ever have is about 60%, unless of course you slightly overfill to shorten one stop, but you only need 55 to 60% in a stint. Groot setting his fast lap so far at 26.6, 26.5 for Thunderpig, 26.6 for Falcon. Kevin came in a few laps ago. He was a 26.6 as well. Does he improve? He does. 26.3. Good lap from Kevin. Noxie, again his PB, 27.1. Hatton, not his PB, 27.6. Can Pilgrim set his fastest lap? No, a 28.4. Corey did set his fastest on the last lap, 27.5. Who was that that's ahead of him? That was Rotary, so up to 4th have lapped Corey. Corey does 4/10, 27.1, a good lap. Temler improved on his last lap only by 0.02 of a second. Is he going to find any more and break into a 24? Yes, he does a 24.7. TSO40 has some traffic in the forms of Hatton. He should be able to get through on the pit straight. The gap between these two started to edge down. Rotary was 25.5 last lap, 26.3 for Philo. I don't know, there's a car a few seconds down the road. I don't know if they were lapping that, and it wouldn't have been. That would have been, yeah, that would be Corey, so they were already ahead of him, so lap traffic wouldn't have interfered. But we saw later in the stint how the Race Asylum car was just so much better on its tyres. It's maybe just a waiting game for them. Wait for the Full Throttle Racing Porsche, which went half a tenth slower on the last lap. This is just us watching Tim Lort putting in fastest lap after fastest lap. There's a lot of people who can't even get 24s. Tim Lort was not that far off of them on starting conditions. Another 24. Are there any cars close on track? Callie still not pitted. Surely he's not trying a two-stop. Fastest lap for Schouler, 26.5. Thunderpig with a 26.4. Looks like Thunderpig and Falcon are quite close. Again, they're out of sync though. So I imagine Falcon is going to start falling away soon. Hatton and Noxie are close. Noxie is going quicker though. And another fast lap from Corey into the 26s. That's 4/10 faster than Pilgrim on the last lap, who's just set his PB of 27.2 for the number 73 P1 entry. Can Corey set another fastest lap and maybe hunt down the P1 machine? 27.3. Quite close. Right now, on the fresher tyres, FTR do have the quicker car over Race Asylum. Like I say, tyres are going to come into it. I don't know if they've shifted the brake balance around for the second stint, but they were absolutely destroying their front tyres in the last stint. Compared to Race Asylum especially, they were a little bit more worn than others, but the Race Asylum had done a very good job. I don't know if the car's set up around it or what. This man Callie still a not pet. I mean, he can do it. He's got to go to the end of 42. And he's setting personal bests. 38 lap old tyres. hasn't come into this box yet. I think he might be the only one. I'm not sure if Hatton has, because his tyres don't look as bad as Callie's. So I don't. Oh no, Hatton pitted early on for damage, didn't he? So he's probably on a similar strategy to Callie, just with 4 or 5 lap fresher tyres. .26.7, that's a very good lap on old tyres. It's a very similar lap to what Groot did. Well, these two are probably the closest on track. They're sort of ebbing and flowing. Rory's just dropped back into the 26s. Was it a blip, or are the tyres starting to lose their initial bite? And Bobby / Philo just got back into the 25s, and they're setting personal best 2.5 tenths up. That looked quite deep at the chicane though. If they'd kept those 2 tenths, they were on for about a 0.3. But I don't think they're going to do that with that chicane. "17 of you watching, glad to have you all here for what is about to be the completion of the 16th hour of this Fuji 24 hours for Race Against Dementia. You can see all the cars sporting the Race Against Dementia stickers on the rear wing and in various other places. This is what this is all for. This is what all the teams, all the drivers, all the commentators, all the people behind the scenes are here for. Of course, you want to win, you want to do as well as you can, but at the end of the day, this is all for charity. You wouldn't think it. I'm sure people have poured in loads and loads of hours on setups and practice. Oh, that was a clip of the grass from Rotary. Doesn't look like he lost too much from it though. He's under a second now. You can see though he's already taken 1 or 2 notches more off of his front tyres. Is he going to get past and just face instant pressure again? Callie still going around. Groot set a fastest lap, that time 26.5, 1.3 seconds quicker than Callie. I'm surprised that we're seeing anyone trying the 2-stop. It just did not seem favourable during any of the stints. 3 seemed the way to go, pitting every 30 or so laps. .25.8 and a 26.4, 6 tenths faster to FTR that time. They seem to be more consistent with their pace. Race Asylum seemed to be a bit more ebby and flowy, going 25, 26, 25, 26. Seems to be mostly 25s for full throttle racing. 3 tenths up though for Race Asylum in that sector. But they picked up a penalty. Doesn't matter too much. There's no specific rules on having to burn them off in certain areas or doing it before the end of the lap. Five tenths up. Are they going to get close to a 24? Are we going to see a 25.1? That chicane did them over last time. Maybe just a little wide going into that turn. This turn is such a pain in these cars. You have to be so slow rolling the car in. Doesn't really want to turn because the corner's initially off camber. And then it's a bit of a blind apex. Race Asylum charge up towards the line. What time are they going to do? Is it going to be the low 25? It's a 25.4 and they lost about 3 tenths. So compare that to a 26.1 from Rotary. More of them and they'll be fine. They just need to cut out the 26.3s, 26.4s and 26.2s and keep doing 25s and they'll be fine. They've got P1 Pilgrim just up ahead, who's being shown the blue flags. Where has Timlor lapped up to? I think he's lapped Thunderpig. Thunderpig has crossed the line. Yeah, and he's lapped Groot. No, he's not lapped Groot. Groot is the next car to be lapped by Timlor. Callie is still just charging around. Fair play to him doing 127s on very old tyres. This should be his end lap if he's doing a 2-stop. And of course, if he gets lapped once or twice, that's some extra laps off the stints at the end. So you need less fuel and the tyres don't have to go as far. Of course, by the default of doing less pit stops, he'll gain about 30 seconds, which is roughly the delta for a pit stop. By this current situation, technically him and Timlor are now in the same. They've both got 2 stops remaining. And he's nearly lapped. He's about 5 or 6 seconds from Timlor being there. And now, yep, as I thought, we're going to see Callie peel off into the pits, lap 42. What about these two? 25.6, 25.9. So just that hair of inconsistency in the Race Asylum car. Whereas it's a bit more consistent over at Full Throttle Racing. What about the two leaders? Oh, TSO40 is very close to a 24, 25.0. Timlor has done mostly 24s in the last 9 laps or so, which is just astonishing pace. I think we all know how quick of a driver TSO40 is. As TSO40 did do a 24 that lap, was it? It was quicker than Timlor by 0.03 of a second. Again, there's 25.4s in the Race Asylum team. It's just every other lap they go 25.9, low 26. If they consistently put in the mid 25s, they'd be a lot more comfortable in 3rd place, but right now they're one mistake or one slip up away from losing it because they've only got 1.7 seconds back. Where has Callie come out? He's come out in P9. About 7 seconds behind THG Kevin for 8th place. Kevin's just sort of settled into his own race. Got through on the early fights, sits in P8. Might end up facing some pressure from Callie soon, but right now he's just sort of cruising on his own, doing a pretty solid pace. He's actually quicker than Falcon, who is of course out of sync. So I'm not quite sure what lap he's going to try and get to. For a conventional 3-stop, he's going to want to get somewhere about 61 or 62. He's not going to do that on the amount of fuel he has. He's got his windscreen wiper on. I don't think there's much threat of rain in Fuji, Japan right now. Maybe in Gran Turismo 7. And that is Groot with Timlor on his case. So it took till lap 44 for Timlor to lap up to 5th place. And now he's got another 27.5 seconds to rotary, and then another 2 and a bit up to the Race Asylum car. Very similar laps for the two last time, only 300ths in it. There's 2 24.9s in a row for TSO40. Who is that? He has the lap. I think that might be Kevin. Let's just check. It is Kevin next up for TSO40 to lap. I think these two might have just settled into position. We're probably not going to see the extreme wear we saw in the FTR car now that they only ever have to use just over half a tank per stint, the tyre wear is obviously going to be a lot less. There's AXR Groot, been in fifth since the early stages and sort of stayed there. Thunderpig occasionally threatens to get close, but they've been very similar in pace. I'm going to be a bit biased because I made it, but I like that car. I always find it quite difficult to work with purple, which is AXR's colours, so I'm never usually happy with what I make. Scroll through, oh, it looked like Bobby was maybe going a touch wide there, but he's fine. Groot has crept into the 27s, while Thunderpig's done his PB. Falcon, I suspect, starting to slip back away with his out-of-sync tyres. Kevin has blue flags. It is for TSO40. It always takes me a quick glance to know which is TSO40, which is Timler, two orange and black Porsches. When I was driving my stint, I would say to Groot, oh, I'm coming up to lap a car. He'd ask me which one is it, I'd go, I don't know, it's orange. Because a lot of these cars are orange. Like, that's orange. And that car, even though it's like that, sometimes the render distance, it just appears orange. You don't really see the blue from far away. So from a distance, there's about 5 cars that appear majority orange. Getting PBs from Rotary. Some consistency has crept into Race Asylum. Some consistent mid 25s. Of course, our next thought is if these two don't battle, how long till Timler gets here? Because the chances are, I think Timler and TSO40 could, well, certainly Timler, maybe TSO40 might lap 4th and 3rd. They've already lapped 5th place. Groot finds himself about 4 seconds behind Timler. I need to go get a new drink, so I will leave you on board with Timler. Maybe we can all learn some tips from how this absolute pro drives, and I shall see you all in a couple minutes. Right. Okay. Oh, personal best for TSO40 recently. 24.8. Gap is starting to slightly stretch there. Maybe the FDR Porsche's front tyre wear starting to creep into it. Race Asylum car has been more consistent. Maybe there was just a mistake for FDR on this lap. We'll see what the lap time is. Yeah, I'd guess considering the last lap was a 26.0, for them to now do a 27.7, there was a bit of a mistake somewhere. Hello, Jerry. Speaking of Jerry, your teammate is starting to close in on mine. Could you tell him to not do that, please? Oh, something happened to Callie on lap 48, a 1:34. That's thrown away about 8 seconds. He would have been about 4 off of Kevin. Yeah, Thunder is driving very good right now. Consistent mid to low 26s. He's took the gap on Groot down about 3 seconds since the pit stops. But unfortunately, there's a good half a minute up to the next cars. Yeah, a very good stint from Thunderpig. He was kind of an unknown. We hadn't seen him yet today. As there's even more support for Thunderpig. And the ATG&I Gulf kind of liveried Sauber. These cars all looking incredible in the sunset of Fuji, Japan. It's a shame we don't have nighttime conditions. Otherwise that would have been really nice. Although not for commentating, it would have been just been... There's some headlights, don't know who it is. There's some more headlights, don't know who that is. And Callie has gotten back on his horse, 26.3 for the last lap, and not deterred by the 34. Falcon has now pitted. He pitted in lap 47 while I wasn't looking, so I'm not sure where that leaves him for a strategy. He didn't take on that much fuel either. Maybe he's planning just a splash and dash at the end, but some early damage has kind of thrown the strategy into jeopardy for Team Meep Meep. Hatton has been... Has he been passed or has he been closing? I'm not quite sure. The lap times have been slightly varied. Corey has been closing in though after his random moment earlier where he just sort of stopped on track and did a 35 and a 38. Seems like we have the whole Thunderpig fan club in the chat. And what's his lap time to Groot last time? 4 tenths quicker. Oh, a bit of a wobble on the exit of the chicane though. With these two up to 5.5 seconds. Certainly seems like the Race Asylum Sauber is just slightly holding on better. Because earlier in the stint, Rotary was catching / sort of maintaining the gap. It was coming down, but it never really got close enough for an attack. And now we're about 20 laps into the stint. I think they pitted about lap 32 or 33, the pair of them. It's just starting to go Race Asylum's way. Some low 25s from TSO40, a 25.3 and a 25.5, the last two from Temlar. TSO40 is doing a good job even just holding a candle to Temlar. I mean, most of the damage was done due to TSO40 having to pass some cars before he even got to thinking about Temlar. We are 1 hour 15 into this stint. I haven't slept yet. And I have to drive stint 8, so I don't feel great, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm sure some of these Stint 8 drivers are enjoying a lovely nap right now. I was meant to have one, and then I got called in to do this due to other streamers not being available. So, yeah, it's an all-nighter for me. I am going to be awake over 24 hours. Something I normally never do, unless I'm super ill and can't sleep. 27.6 for Thunderpig. 26.5 for Groot. So Groot pulled a second on that lap. I think Groot has some traffic to contend with. That's Pilgrim up in front. Pilgrim and Corey. Hopefully, Pilgrim goes wide, stays out the way. Tell you what, Kevin is doing a fantastic job here. He's pretty much matching Callie, despite his tyres being a good 10 plus laps older. Of course, they will probably be fine now. It's how will they feel in 5-10 laps time once they've had a bit more wear. But of course, for these guys on the 3-stop, they'll be in that time. So it's just what can Callie do from about lap 60 to around lap 84. She'll have less fuel, but his tyres, well, at that stage, already been nearly 20 laps older. So it's gonna be a bit of an uphill struggle for Callie. I guess maybe because of early damage that he picked up, he might have just thought, screw it, a 2-stop's all I can try. Because Pilgrim is in. But seems a strange time to pit. Oh god, I hate how loud those Mazdas are. Not at bloody 2 in the morning when you haven't slept. I don't need that in my ears. I'm already trying to be quiet. There's people asleep in the house. Hopefully you can hear me okay over the cars. I've got my microphone as close to my mouth as I can. And got the cars a bit quieter. It's a bit late to tell me if you can't hear me properly. We're not far off of halfway. What about this gap? Still mostly 25 for Race Asylum. And there hasn't been a 25 for FTR since lap 47. So yeah, it's not as drastic as last time, but again, I think tyre wear is just edging it for Race Asylum. Their pace on fresh tyre seems slightly similar. Maybe rotary is a bit quicker when the tyres are even and fresh. But make them do 20 or so laps, and it definitely falls towards Race Asylum. Groot 26.8, Thunderpig 26.8. These two are just tit for tat this whole stint. And of course, just a reminder, we are all doing this for charity. This is all for Race Against Dementia, the charity of Sir Jackie Stewart. If you are in and about the Acupax Racing Discord, you'll find it in the announcements channel. We've gone through the target of 500. So Groot is up to the target 750. Of course, doesn't matter if we don't hit that. Any and all contributions are much appreciated. Seeing these lot go round, thinking we're only about 17 and a half hours in. Reminds me, I did a Le Mans 24 hours solo at the end of 2020. Never again. That was for charity, and that was stressful. 24 hours on a wheel, you can barely walk. Your feet and your ankles are sore. I don't think I appeared out of my bed for quite a long time. Yeah, not many battles really going on right now. Race Asylum and FTR were quite close for a while. It seems to close down towards the start of the stint, then stretch back out towards the end. Yeah, I absolutely agree, Danker. Every driver, every person who's gone into making this, every commentator, everyone who's donated. I mean, all teams who signed up are still here, 17 and a half hours in, despite the early issues with connections and DNSs. And so I think someone had a complete power cut earlier when I was watching the stream. So yeah, everyone who's involved in any way, shape, or form, even if you've just donated or watched the stream, thank you very much from myself and the rest of AXR. As much as we do setting it up, none of this is possible without all of you lot donating and driving and watching. And TSO40, I'll tell you what, he's done a bloody good stint. He's not losing that much time to Timlor. What about these guys? FTR rotor rate 1 minute 12 off the lead, so I presume that's Timlor coming into turn 5 now. So depending on certain factors, these two might get lapped twice. 63 is the halfway point. I think any sort of mistakes or any issues, they might get lapped twice. At their current paces, they should only be lapped once. As a rotor rate, the front tyres are going, but the rear is a bit all over the shop. That's just the nature of these cars. When you have no assists, 800 horsepower, and not much downforce to control it, they are some pretty wild beasts to drive. There is Groot getting blue flags, although at the chicane they seem to be strange. Someone could be about 5 seconds behind and you'll get blue flags through that section. Who is it that's coming to lap Groot? That is... that's TSO40. I presume that is being lapped... that'll be the first time by TSO40. Okay. Then I guess it's just an entourage of cars that TSO40 has lapped behind and that Groot is also lapped. So I'm assuming they are a couple of laps down. We're all the lucky ones, Jerry. The charity wins. We get the satisfaction of putting on a great event and seeing everyone have fun. Fingers crossed we all have fun. And you guys are the ones having fun. Along as us, of course, we also drive, but... it's fun for everyone, as serious as we all take it. Hopefully there's no teams or drivers that have sour feelings towards each other after this. Hopefully we can finish this hellhole of 24 hours, get it over and done with, and just go, that was bloody brilliant. And not go, this person's a censored word, that person's a that word, he didn't get out of my way, he deserves to be penalised, etc, etc. Hopefully everyone is just happy with the way it goes. It's not really been smooth sailing for many people, apart from, well, these lot. I don't think we've seen them have damage, have any sort of disconnects or issues. It has just been pole, win every stint, bosh. At this rate, they could just completely miss a stint, have the go one lap down in last rule, and still be in the lead quite comfortably. They were in the lead by about 7 laps after stint 4. Of course, through issues, no matter how big, whether it was teams getting damaged and having to go out of sync or disconnects, did not start, power cuts, etc. Most teams have lost time in some way or another, apart from this lot. And you have to commend them on just how good they've driven, how good they've made the car, how consistent they've made it. They got very close to not winning the last stint. Storm Pacer ended up throwing it off at turn 1. But I think I wasn't watching because I was getting set up for this stint. I think Bobby ended up getting damage, so Storm Pacer retook his lead. Yeah, not far from the second pit stop phases. We should see cars in about lap 32, 33, I'd imagine, at the earliest. Some might go on to about 34, 35. You want to split it into 2 stints of 31, 2 stints of 32. And Groot now definitely has TSO 40 behind him. We saw him have the blue flags a lap ago, but he's now within passing range. And you can see just how much the cars fall backwards when you change gear. You'll be drag racing with someone and then you'll start pulling ahead because they've changed gear, and then you'll change gear and they'll start pulling back. These cars are so different to what most of us, I imagine, drive on the regular. Which I bet would be Group 3s and Group 4s. That's certainly what I'm most accustomed to. Oh, Groot. Keep it together. You've only got a couple laps left on the tyres. And you've got 2 more stints and you're done. And you just have to be the nervous team manager sitting on the side hoping your other 2 drivers don't bugger it up. Some 26s going back in for MRC. Have they made some issues? Have they had traffic? Because they're now doing pretty similar to FTR. And we saw in the last stint, I mean, look at the difference in the front tyres, particularly the front left. The MRC one is quite a bit healthier. And that's going to massively help you in turn 4 and a couple of the slow corners in the last sector. Those off-camber corners, you'll need your front left. That looks quite deep from MRC. Sorry, MRC Race Asylum. I guess they're kind of the same entry. It's got Mature Racing Club on it. It's a bit scrappy from Philo. He picks up a penalty. 1 minute 19. That is Timler there with Pilgrim. And then once he gets through Pilgrim, next up is Rotary, although there is a car up ahead between Rotary and Bobby. It is Noxie. So it might not be Rotary up next if he can get through Noxie, because that'll be another car. Timlor is in. So he's pitting on lap 62. Took a bit easy, he had the P1 car in front of him. Does TSO 40 respond? He probably has the field to go another lap or 2, maybe. You can go quite far in these tanks, hence you only need about a half to do a stint of 40 minutes, 45 minutes. And TSO 40 does respond. Not that it's going to matter in the grand scheme of the race, they're probably all just doing their own strategy. And hand-cooked tyres in an old race car, that is not something you saw before. I imagine a lot of these teams are using, you know, Dunlops or Goodyears, things you would have seen in the old days. Who was that? Was that Noxie? It was. So that appears to be a disconnect. I did see a car go absolutely flying at crazy speeds, so that must have been Noxie. Either of these 2 respond. Bobby does not, Rotary does not. They're sticking to their plans. I imagine they'll be in this or next lap. Right back, Groot. He'll be in the next lap or 2, I'd imagine. His gap seems to stabilise to Thunderpig. Over the stint, they seem to be pretty even. Falcon, I really don't know where he's going to be net position. Well, he has the attentions of Callie. Kevin has just come in the pit, so he's now behind Callie. We know Callie is on a 2-stop, so he's not going to be in for another 20 plus laps. Falcon is out of sync. pitted on about lap 45, 46, 47, around that area. So we're not really sure where he fits in strategy-wise. As Groot has come in, gets some fresh Michelin tyres on the car. Race Asylum is still not pitting. Full Throttle Racing are pitting. So, Race Asylum going a touch longer. They might lose a bit once they come out the pits, but they will have even fresher tyres for later on. Excuse me, just unmuted my microphone to cough. Brilliant. But yeah, we're now over halfway through this stint. I am so looking forward to a break in the next stint. I'm not going to nap, because I'm one of those people, if I nap for like an hour, I feel terrible, so I'm just going to have to stick it out and wait till stint 8 and hope driving some Group C's will wake me up. Tim Lort has, I believe that's Hatton to go through. That is Hatton. It's incredible as well. All these hours at that pace and they've not even tripped over a back marker. I think Rotary is near someone. That is P1 Pilgrim, who now takes defunct last due to the disconnection. We haven't seen a disconnection for a while, but obviously not everyone's internet is going to be perfect. Servers aren't going to be perfect. And where are they? Rotary is just crossing the start-finish line, and Bobby is in turn 1. So what's the gap? I imagine it's going to be about... It stayed about the same, about 6 seconds. As Rotary has Pilgrim still to get through. As Tim Lort passed Hatton, he has. You can see Tim Lort in the background there, ready to put the Full Throttle Racing car a lap down and then set about Race Asylum. And probably not pleased with Pilgrim's failure to get out the way, although he does now, kind of, not really. Swear I saw some movement there. Schouler is out ahead of Callie. So overall in that stint, Schouler has gained time on Callie. Of course, he'll have a shorter stop. And Callie actually has damage. Now, does he want to trot around for 20 laps with front air and front left? Because that'll be crabbing on the straight. He has a Thunderpeg a second behind. Of course, Thunderpeg won't want to lose time passing a wounded car. Kevin, again, doing some very solid laps. He's just consistently on his own doing low 26s. How badly is Callie's car pulling? It doesn't actually seem to be pulling much. He's making slight corrections of the wheel, so I suggest that's not much. He might be able to live with that. What's his lap time, though? At 27.9. He's losing between a second and a half a lap. Is it not worth maybe just jumping in, maybe keep your tyres and fuel, and just fixing Accidentally slightly pulled my headset out. I'm very tired, okay? Now this is all going to help Groot. In fact, Thunderpig is just going to slide right on through in turn 4. And then it's just a case of probably how long until Kevin catches up to Callie. Now that Callie has his damage. I mean, I'm surprised he's not pitting even just to get rid of the damage, even if he doesn't want to take tires and fuel. It's probably quicker. Because if you're losing that much for 20 laps, you're going to lose anywhere from 20 to 30 seconds. You're not going to lose that much just fixing damage. It takes that much to do tires and fuel. So to just take about 5 seconds stationary, I think he's probably quicker pitting. What's he going to do this time around? Is he going to bail it out? Is he going to come in? I think he's going to bail it out. Brave man. I would not be doing that. Falcon, again with his unconventional strategy, finds himself P5. He is... Was he the one we saw with the windscreen wiper on earlier? I'm not sure. But again, I'm not sure there's much threat of rain. There's a threat of going off track though. Again, we come out of fresh tyres. The rest of Sam car's not going quick. 27.3 and a 26.6. You'd expect to be mostly in the 25s on fresh tyres. The FTR car has just snuck a 25 by a couple thousandths. So Race Asylum really need to sort their inconsistencies out if they're going to try and secure third on track. Shall we have a quick look at everyone's best laps? So Temlor 24.5, TSO 40 24.8, Philo with a 25.4, 25.5 for Rotary, 25.9 for Falcon, 26.2 for Groot, 26.1 for Thunderpig, 25.9 Callie, 26.0 Kevin, 26.7 Hatton, 26.8 Corey, and 27.2 Pilgrim. So, you know, there's only a handful of cars in the 25s, and then you've got Temlor with a 24.5. It just shows you how unstoppable Clockwork Motorsports have been today. Can Groot do anything about Falcon? Falcon is out of sync. I don't know if he's genuinely fighting for 5th or what. But it's quite hard to tell. I'm sure no matter what way, Groot is probably thinking, I want ahead. Rotary now has the blue flags for Temlor. This game is quite strict with them. It'll give you them from about 3 seconds back, which I reckon Temlor is. He's about 2 seconds back. Of course, Rotary will want him to close up before getting out of the way. He'll want to lose as little time as possible. Now, like I said, I don't think Temlor, barring any issues for TSO 40, is going to repeat his feat of lapping everyone. But I think he'll probably lap Rotary and Bobby, but not lap TSO 40. These two have been the class of the field. You can see the FTR car getting a little bit skittish out the final turn. And there he goes, Rotary gets out the way out the final turn. Now, Bobby is another 6 seconds up the road. He just set his fastest lap a couple of laps ago, a 25.3. Almost rotary then goes a bit wide out of 5. I know that Groot and Falcon stayed much the same. Kevin has been catching Callie. Callie with the damage and much older tyres. For these guys, the tyres are just starting to lose some bite. For Callie, they're pretty much screaming no more. They don't feel terrible as they get older, the lap time just fades away. That's probably going to be a time penalty for Kevin. As we thought, but that will naturally burn itself away. Does he think about a move into the chicane on the wounded 787B? I thinks about it, doesn't do it. Oh, what happened to Callie? I think Callie just sort of got a bit worried about the car on the inside and either conceded or sort of went wide, not knowing fully where he is. I do apologise, I am incredibly tired and I've got another 7.5 hours to go. And I mean, let's be honest, there's not much going on track. Falcon and Groot are slightly close, but they seem to ebb and flow. Groot and Thunderbird always threaten to have a fight. So, 10th place is coming up to lap 12th place. Oh, I can't do coffee, Jerry. The only time I ever drink coffee is before I donate blood. I'm sat here with an apple tango trying to wake me up, keep me awake, and some mini eggs. It's not quite doing the trick, but hopefully in 4 and a bit hours time I'll be in the car and that screaming V8 might be enough to keep me awake. Have fun living to 100. God no, I hope I don't. Groot back into slipstream of Falcon, but as we mentioned earlier, Sauber doesn't seem that quick in a straight line. The Mazda has been particularly quick. So the Saubers start gaining, but it's just always too late on the straight to do anything with. That's a PB for Groot, 26.1, probably aided by some slipstream down the main straight. And, Bobby now has the blue flags, that will be Timler. Yep, Timler just a few seconds back. You don't know how much I would love a burger right now, or some hot food. Yeah, those guys over there at TSO40 is coming on to the straight, so he's basically got the whole straight's length to make up to get to lapping 3rd and 4th. I'm sure that's not his aim right now, but I mean, when you're having the race he's having, you've probably got micro objectives, haven't you? Other than just being consistent, you're probably thinking, right, what's next? Who am I going to lap? What can I do? Now, is that Bobby getting out of the way of Timler? It is Bobby, Philo. I'm led to believe Race Asylum are in just 2 locations for all the drivers. That maybe wasn't the best place to get out of the way. He's thrown away about 2 seconds to the car behind. I'm sure he can probably recover those. 24.7 for TSO40. There was 4 thousandths between Temlor and TSO40 on the previous lap. Must be nice just being freakishly fast. Of course, I know the pain of most of these guys. I had TSO40 in my stint. He didn't lap me, thankfully, but I reckon he was only about 20 seconds down the road from me. Groot and Falcon still at it. Can Groot finally get past the screaming Mazda of Team Meep Meep? No, he seems quite happy to stick in behind, or just not desperate to make a move and throw away time. He'll know from the standings that AXR set in second. And it's all about just losing as little time as possible, not fighting everyone. And Callie has finally boxed. I think that's a bit earlier than scheduled. What's he do for fuel? God, I always have to cut off that. He's gone for about half a tank, so I think he's committing to doing another pit stop after this one. So again, I think this time due to damage, he's had to back out of the 2-stop. I'm not sure it was going to work for him anyway. Hatton has now lapped Pilgrim, 10th lapping 12th. Callie, 34 seconds behind Kevin. They both have another pit stop to do, so some extra places isn't out of the question. Kevin putting in a 25 on lap 71. Kevin is flying along in this stint. He might get Thunderpig, and then he might even start thinking about Groot. TSO48 nearly a minute ahead of the next car. There you go, a minute ahead of Race Asylum. Just creeped under a minute, back to a minute. So TSO40 is on the main straight. Bobby and Rotary are in turn 3. Kevin still on the hunt of Thunderpig, doing a fantastic job in P8. Where is Groot going? He was chasing a tow. Falcon is in to the pits. So I think he's committing to that stop and maybe another. Otherwise he's going to have a very long final stint. And the tyres are not going to be a fan of that. What does he do feel-wise? That wasn't much. I'm not sure that's enough to get him to the end. I don't know about the Mazda's fuel economy, but I'm pretty confident that's not enough. So perhaps planning on pitting around lap 100 and just splitting it in half. That is Hatton up next for TSO40, the next car to lap. Successfully done down the inside into turn 1. THG opting to change the wheels on the Porsche, not something any of the other teams have opted to do. They've stuck with the standard Porsche wheels. Not quite sure about the rest. I know ourselves at AXR stuck with the original wheels and tyre decals for the Sauber. Works with the retro look. I'm not entirely sure what is standard for the rest of the cars. I never made liveries for them, just the Sauber. I know that it was Michelin's. So I could not tell you if Dunlops are standard for the Porsche. Looking at that little photo, I don't know. I can't say I take overly much notice about those things. Anyway, enough waffling at 3 in the morning with no sleep. Kevin has, again, slowly been chasing down Thunderpig. I'm not sure the Thunderpig fan club we have in chat are gonna like this one, but Kevin has been closer. Oh, Thunderpig did do a 25 on lap 75, but it's not enough to keep Kevin away. That might be, though. But then again, Thunderpig has made his own mistake, so anything you can do, I can do worse. Oh, and another slide for Thunderpig on board the THG R9 2CP, my favourite ever race car of this era. Talking late 80s, early 90s era. The late 90s was a totally different ball game for race cars. And you've got the likes of your Toyota GT1s and CLK GTRs and R390s, etc. A completely different ball game in the GT1 era compared to these Group C monsters. The gap between MRC and FTR has crept down. I'm guessing due to virtue of a 27.2 on the last lap, that'll be 1.1 seconds. 128 and 73 will be where Philo basically jumped out of the way of Timlor and lost about 2 seconds. But again, it was just after about lap 20 we saw Race Sam start to pull away again. The FTR tyre where it just kicked in. And while we've been away, unless we've already seen it, I honestly don't know. Kevin is through on Thunderpig. So that relegates the ATG&I driver down to 7th. THG Americas up to P6. Now just stay away from group, please. Because here at AXR, considering the well, I'd probably say lack of time we put in compared to some others. Because I imagine most of the teams did probably a lot more than us. And our ambitions, we'd probably snap your hand off for a podium. Of course, last time out at the 24 hours, I wasn't a part of AXR. As I mentioned earlier in the stream, I was part of what is now this team. It used to be, or for that race, it was the SPR by Sidemax Motorworks BMW M6 that won the race. And I think AXR ended up that Nürburgring race at something like 13th place. I'm not entirely sure because I wasn't in the team. I am now, and hopefully we can make a big leap up from 13th to hopefully, fingers crossed, a podium. The THG, whatever team this is, I'm sorry THG, I'm terrible with your team names. I know Kevin's in the THG Americas. I probably should check the document, but my phone is on the other side of the room. So these guys and FTR are the biggest threats. I think FTR were about 3 minutes back after Stint 6, roughly. Or after Stint 5, sorry, this is Stint 6. And they're currently gaining about 50 seconds on Groot, so by the end of this stint they'll probably have got it down to under 2 minutes. They've got Mr. Slowly in next, who is no slouch. And then Rotary is back in for the last stint. Due to virtue of the way that drivers were and weren't available, their schedule or driver plan was kind of forced. Hello Lewis, you say morning, I haven't slept yet. Kevin has, I'd say, lost about half a second since we last saw him with Groot. So honestly, at this rate, I think THG will probably be about level with the AXR. As it stands, maybe a little behind, but there's still 45 laps odd to go. And FTR will be about 2 minutes or so behind AXR with 2 stints to go. 1 stint for Mr. Slowly and 1 stint for Rotary and 1 stint for Nano Marinello and a stint for myself. So it might be a straight FTR and AXR shootout for the podium. Each team have both had their own issues. FTR had DNS, AXR have had damage in some stints that we've had to go out of sync to repair. And we had a very, very last minute driver replacement. We were supposed to have NLR Caliber, but instead we got SDM Splash, who literally did a couple laps practice and was straight in the deep end and did a fantastic job. So both teams have had their problems. But may the best man win, and whoever takes the podium, everyone's going to want it. I'm not sure who THG still have to drive. I think Sonam still has a stint. And maybe Tom, I'm not entirely sure. All I know is Teso 40's been twice, he was in stint 3 with myself. The gap is starting to edge down. It's been like this for the whole race. We've got yellows. It is Falcon for Team Meep Meep. He doesn't have damage, but how much time has he lost? He's going to have the race asylum car on him now. Yeah, he's lost about 7 seconds. 7.5 seconds through that mistake. Now the race asylum car is going to go down the inside and put a lap on Team Meep Meep. Falcon at the wheel. Meep Meep under the rear wing. Yeah, pretty spread out through most of the field, I think. Of course, Kevin just passed Thunderpeg a couple of laps ago for 6th and 7th. Falcon and Callie. Looks like Callie's had the slight upper hand in pace. Has he got damage again, or did he not repair that damage? I'm wondering if he's gotten damage again. Because was it not the front right he damaged last time? I'm not entirely sure, but Hatton doesn't have much fuel. Not sure what his strategy is, but you're going to see most of these guys go to about 94, 95. FTR Rotary getting all kinds of squirrely out of the penultimate corner. It's probably not the penultimate corner by definition. Who shall we pick? I need to have a quick break. Let's pick Corey, and I shall be back with you guys in a few minutes. Alrighty. Hopefully that is the last break we need, although I have had a bit of a dodgy stomach recently, so I'm not gonna rule it out as not being the last one. Oh, and the race Sam car has a bit of trouble with Meep Meep. There was a chance to let Race Asylum go, and they didn't take it. And then Race Asylum get all crossed up. They'll probably be annoyed, they've already lost about half a second through it all. Finally, the Meep Meep car gets out the way. Probably could have done so about 30 seconds sooner, but better late than never. Yeah, there's not much going on track. These two have been the closest, but haven't really fought since the opening phases. We've seen the FTR team be faster on fresher tyres, but later in the stints, it seems to just slip away a bit. Although they've managed to hold on to Race Asylum this time, it seems Race Asylum haven't had a very good stint. Oh, and now Race Asylum are off the road. Just as I say they're not being consistent, they go and show it. They're off the road, they're back behind Meep Meep. And now we know that Full Throttle Racing, excuse me, are quicker out of the box. It just sort of slowly fades away over a stint. But MRC have not driven particularly well. In the last stint, they were still doing 25s, 25s, 25, the occasional 26 at this point. I'm gonna be honest with you, I cannot wait till this is over and jumped into bed. I feel so annoyed for everyone that's managed to sleep between stints. I'd planned to, not happening now. we have just over 50 minutes left in this stint. Then we have stint 7, where I can have a little bit of a break. Probably not a sleep, but a break. Oh, is that... Oh, New Wave nearly crashing into Timlor. Has TSO40... No, but he's not far from lapping the field. Stuck up behind Corey now. I believe Corey is... Yep, 11th. So Corey's not gonna hold up the sister car. Car that right now probably looks favourite for second place overall. But you never know. There's still disconnects or game issues or whatnot still potentially in play. It all seemed pretty okay so far. We saw one car disconnect. Race Asylum complained that Rotary was lagging. I haven't personally seen any of it, but when they complained about it, I wasn't looking, so I don't know if it just blipped or whether it was peer-to-peer or what. I haven't seen any of it. Maybe it was just a secret tactic to get him to move. But it does seem that Race Asylum have just been that bit quicker, but just not as consistent. Groot managing to hold about 6 seconds to Kevin. He's doing some good laps on the old tyres. Mid to high 26s. I'm sure he would have snapped your arm off to do those times last week. You should have heard him when we were practicing. Oh my lord. Well, I don't know if that's signs of sleep or tiredness or what, but my god, that was an interesting line through turn 5. I don't know if he was trying to do the old Fuji, like from Gran Turismo 4, where that corner was a lot shallower. That would have been great for these cars if we still had that, where you didn't really have this final sector. It was just a super long, super fast sweeping corner. Yeah, I think he did, Jerry. I didn't even know it was possible to do that through turn 5. I can't say I've ever seen anyone do it in practice and the races and the pre-race practice sessions. But yeah, if it can be done in a moronic way, it'll be Groot to find it. Yeah, everyone commenting that and about the line from Groot. Can he do turn 5 this time? He's only a few seconds away from getting there. I believe he is. Lewis Joker is hosting next, and then I'm hosting Stint 8. Because obviously Rob can't host next because he's hosting this, and I can't host it because I'm hosting 8, so yes, it's Joker. Yeah, I mean, Rob's attempt at Fuji was probably closer to Rainbow Road. So Jokerman saying Stint 7. Thank God, the penultimate stint. My one and only time for break now. Because if you weren't here with us earlier, we had to do some reshuffling. Some commentator schedules conflicted and then weren't available, so I was meant to host the last stint, but now I'm in this one doing commentary. I'm not entirely sure who the next bunch of commentators are. I think Rob said it's Ryan for the last one, thingy-majig. Not quite 100% sure who's in the next one. Because I'm tired, I haven't taken in what Rob said to me in the last couple of hours. Bugger off, Joker man. Talking about going to bed. Stay up with the rest of us AXR lot. Be a real man. Rob's doing an all-nighter. I've been sort of forced into an all-nighter. You don't want to leave us, do you? You've been here for most of the race. After as we've been staring at Groot for ages, Bobby and Rotary down to 1.5 seconds. I keep saying Bobby, it's Philo. They're on Bobby's account. It's just confusing. But we are nearing the pit stop phase. And TSO 40 is the next car behind these two. So first and second are gonna lap third and fourth. So I thought you might see in the background with rotary, you might have seen TSO 40. It's a similar story for me. I got lapped by first and second in my stint. Thankfully one of them wasn't TSO 40, he came third. Now the blue flags are showing, but this area is quite weird. I don't know if it goes off distance or what, but they instantly disappear when you get here. You can be about 4 or 5 seconds ahead and the game's like, yep, blue flags. I'll tell you what, in the last hour and a half or so, it's only increased from Temlor to TSO 40 by about half a second. Oh, half a second, sorry, 5 seconds. Yep, the no sleep is starting to show. Groot is pulling away from Kevin slightly, still in the 26s. They've all been 26s bar 82. If he can do a 26 this lap. In fact, his lap 86 and his lap 90 were exactly the same. Ow. Apologies, I'm just moving to get comfortable. And it is a 26. Oh, I briefly went on and it looked like he was going slow. It was just the chicane. Kevin is in. So he's going to have a slightly longer stint at the end. He's been doing 30 the whole time now. He's going to have about 33 or 34 because he's been lapped. Callie has just sort of slipped away since the start of the race, was trying the two-stop. I think picked up damage on 2 different occasions. Both front aero and front suspension. And now Kevin has pitted. Falcon is in the pits for Meep Meep. So he was in not that long ago, I believe. Oh, sorry, that was Callie I'm thinking of. So is this finally us seeing where Falcon is going to figure in net position? Because he's always just sort of been, you don't really know where he's going to be. And Rotary is ahead of Race Asylum. So I don't know what's happened there, but it's now Rotary third, Bobby / Philo fourth. They've got TSO 40 behind. What's the fuel situation? FTR have a bit more. MRC have quite superior front tyres, but they're obviously not putting them to use. Of course, TSO 40 is just begging these two box. No, he decides to box. He's getting out of the fight. It's better he boxes than sit behind them and try and fight for a way through. Do Race Asylum go for the move? It's side by side. Race Asylum slot in front going into turn 3 and then instantly go wide. And that's going to allow FTR back around the outside. Yeah, a couple of poor laps for Race Asylum sees them fall behind. Oh, sorry. fall behind Full Throttle Racing. Groot still yet to make his final stop. He'll probably be in this lap or next. Who else is yet to stop? Obviously, Rotorate, Race Asylum. Thunderpig is yet to come in. Groot has extended that gap up to 15 seconds. What does Kevin do? Because he might be a potential threat to Groot later on. 26. Oh. Race Asylum out of the tow of Full Throttle Racing. I think the best thing possible for Race Asylum is hope that they don't lose too much time out of the pit stops, and then hope that FTR experience some of the similar tyre issues they've experienced throughout the race. Because it's always gone FTR pull away out of the box, then give it 15-20 laps. Their front tyres, I mean, if I show you now the difference, look at the front left. Just all of the front tyres. Comparison from MRC to FTR. At this point, the MRC car shouldn't even be competing with FTR with tyre difference. The MRC car should still be pretty much fine, but clearly not in Philo's hands. Oh god. Philo, mate, what are you doing? Oh, he's all over the show now. Groot has pitted. Bobby is coming in. Rotary is coming in. Groot has blue flags to Timler. That is to go a second lap down. Does the right thing and gets out the way. What about these lot? That is not stock wheels or tyres on the Sauber. I'm not quite sure a Sauber would have gold copper wheels. Slightly less fuel put into the MRC car, but they also did come in with slightly less fuel, so they've both put about 54 litres in, so equal fuel. Just the FTR car now carries a couple % more. Ah, Joker, you should be totally accustomed to blue flags the whole time. I mean, do you not remember Spa? You just had 2 hours of blue flags. I thought that was like the best day of your life. So Kevin has slightly closed the gap to Groot in the pit stops. It's come down by around 3 seconds. Yeah, I totally understand what you mean, Jerry. When you go into the chicane, cars can be so far back, and the game's like, nope, you gotta move. I don't know if it does it on distance or what, because you're obviously gonna sort of accordion together. So that gap's gone up again. Race Asylum of 2.1 seconds. Something's happened. Race Asylum have not had a good stint here. They probably had the pace and tyre management to take third somewhat untroubled. But now, it's gonna be quite difficult. They're gonna need to drive well and hope that Rotary's tyres fall off the cliff. There is P1 Pilgrim. We've not seen him in a while. I think that is THC Corey coming up to lap him. Then you've got Hatton into the final turn, who is about 15-20 seconds off lapping the pair of them. Callie's been a bit of an anonymous. He's been a bit anonymous this race. He tried the two-stop early on. Sorry, I am so tired. I don't know how I'm going to stay up for another 6 hours. Let's try that again. Callie has been quite anonymous this race. Started out with his two-stop, which we were watching keenly. Got damaged, and I think that's kind of forced him out of it, and now he's had to revert to the 3. I think the early work of having to try and do a 2 did the damage, and he sits down in P9. Falcon has blue flags. That is for TSO 40. 26-0 for Rotary. 25-6 for Race Asylum. That's more like what they need. 3/4 tenths a lap. I do apologise, people. I'm just randomly hitting buttons and randomly doing things. I vouch never to have to do an all-nighter on one of these again. Next time, I'm having all my stints done by the evening and going to bed and never appearing again. It's kind of like what I did in Nürburgring. I think all my stints were done by like 10 PM. That's when we had only 6 stints of 4 hours and 3 drivers a team. Thankfully, it's a little less demanding here. You only have to do 3 hours a stint. Otherwise, you lot would be in for a lot of pain. It would be nearly 170 laps a stint. Speaking of that, the leaders are on 101. Tim Moore in the final sector of 101. As there is Groot, I presume ghosting in the background due to having a penalty. .25.6 versus a 25.9 on the last lap. It was 3 tenths. What's the difference this time around between probably the closest battle on track? 25.8. 26.1, 3 tenths lost for Race Asylum that time. I do apologise, I'm just sort of blanking and... In an ideal world, I'd be asleep right now. .25.3 to 25.9 last lap, 6/10 from Race Asylum. They need to keep doing this if they want third. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be honest, it's very, very possible, Jerry. Who knows if a screaming V8 with 800 horsepower is enough to wake me up. But if I drive badly, it's on Rob for making me do this calm stint and being sleepy. Yeah, it's pretty bad, isn't it? But hopefully we get some close racing. Maybe Race Asylum, who are 2/10 quicker that lap, have closed in slightly again on FTR. 23 laps to go. But these lot will only get to the end of 125 at the current rate. Excuse me. Here are the rest of the field, all pretty spread out. And Corey is a lap ahead of Pilgrim, and Hatton is not far off of lapping Corey. Calais is about 39 seconds ahead of Hatton. He's 14 seconds behind Falcon, 8 behind Thunderpig, 15 behind Kevin, who is closing on Groot. Groot had a poor lap last lap, 27.2. Although he is up on his PB. If he can match around those times, he should be okay to Kevin for now. .25.8 FTR, 26.3. It's these inconsistencies. 2 laps ago they were a second quicker. Where has that 1 second gone? That could be the difference between them being third and fourth. Of course, this stint isn't about finishing as high up as you can, it is purely about doing it as quick as you can. Of course, individual little glories and whatnot, being on the podium in your stint is always a nice little bonus, or winning your stint, but it seems nobody's going to stop Clockwork from doing that. Oh, we have a yellow flag. It is P1 Pilgrim, who found himself stranded on the inside of the last corner. He has a Thunderpig now for company, coming up to lap him. These events are torture. Fair play to anyone else staying up the full 24 hours, because, oh, I feel your pain. I suppose it might not be so bad for some of you in different time zones. But for me, the race is going to end when I'm probably not far away from waking up. As Tim Lort puts another lap on Corey. We have 20 laps to go. Yeah, I get that, but for some of you, you might have been able to adjust. Some of you might have been able to adjust when you sleep and when you wake up, so yeah, 24 hours, 24 hours, but some time zones might slightly help. Doesn't help that this is currently nearly 4 AM. You guys still might have sunlight outside to help you. Might be a nice sunset. Yeah, 4 AM to 4 AM is not too bad. It'd be nice to get a nap any time. I'm not going to get one for another 6.5 hours. Still got some driving to do. I'd hope to have a nap between, well, you never know. Some parts of America it's probably like an evening. Not maybe West Coast America. I'm not too familiar with time zones in America. I've never been to the place. But yeah, for Australia, they're laughing. It's early afternoon for them. I'm sure if you're Steggs, who is a brilliant commentator, I believe he did the last stint. Or was it stint 4? I'm not entirely sure. Steggs is a brilliant commentator. It's great for him, although I don't believe he had much sleep. Ah, okay. Yeah, when you had Steggs in the live chat saying, I'm glad TSO40 is driving because he doesn't know I'm up and not sleeping. We've looked at Timlor for a while. Let's change. Race Asylum again, not having the consistency. 128. They were all over Rotary at the beginning. I think Rotary ended up conceding the position. It looked like they had the pace. It was quite even on fresh tyres. But then I think overall throughout the 30 or so laps, it looked like MRC Race Asylum, just had a bit of an advantage. But they haven't used it. There's been some sloppy, inconsistent driving from Race Asylum. And Groot is going to have to start thinking about the THG America's car. What does he want to do? Does he fight? Does he wave it on by? The THG America's car is not in a fight with the AXR car, so it's probably best, if anything, to just go on you go and lose as little time as possible. Thunderpig in 7th. He threatened to get near Groot for a while, but finds himself over 20 seconds behind Falcon, who is out of sync for a while. Calite, who was in between a 2 and a 3 stop, but is now converted to a 3, has paid the prices for going in the middle. Hatton in 10th. Corey in 11th. I think Hatton's just a few seconds away from lapping Corey. And P1 Pilgrim in 12th. What is that? He is about 5.5 laps down. So we might get a 6th lap by Timlor on P1 Pilgrim towards the end of this stint. TSO40 doing a personal best sector 1, then goes a bit wide, might find himself with a little half-second penalty for that. He does. Yeah, another 128 from Race Asylum. I don't know if Philo hasn't slept or what, but the driving in the second half of the race has been rather inconsistent. Looks like this might be the closest battle that we could get. Groot in 5th. the Team America's THG Nissan R92CP sits in 6th place. I think Groot might have some lap traffic to think about. Who is that just ahead of him? It is Hatton. .35 seconds from Tim Lord. TSO40 hasn't been able to beat his 24.5 fastest lap. He's got 15 laps to go. FTR pulling out the gap in 3rd place. Some inconsistencies from Race Asylum in their 2nd stint. Even on old tyres it was just 25, 25, 25, 25, 25, 25. And now they've got 2 in the last like 9 laps. And it's been 26, 26, 28, 26, 28, 26. Whereas, you know, Rotary has been mostly 26s. There's a 27 in there. Then there's 4 25s. And AXR Joker has just put in the Discord that the Stint 7 lobby is up. So if you're racing in Stint 7 and watching this, your lobby is now available. Looks like Groot is kind of matching to Kevin now. They're doing 26 3s, 26 2s for Groot. It's going to get close. Kevin has caught for most of the race. Oh, I just want to go to bed so bad. Maybe we can make Groot drive Stint 8 as well. I do apologise. They have Hatton again. I believe they only lapped a handful of laps ago. Maybe he's petted. Yeah, I imagined Timler's probably not really trying now. He's 35 seconds in the lead. Clockwork is going to have won every single stint. There's no point in pushing it. Let's have a quick update on the Just Giving. See if we've had any more donations during this stream. we have had some donations. Thank you to the THG America's cart, and to Harry Mop, thank you. Oh, what is going on there? Thank you all for your donations. I was looking at the donations and something happened. For God's sake. I wonder if they've tripped over Hatton. I'm gonna go on my phone and have a look back at that. Because we were looking at them. Oh no. It was Kevin. Kevin lost on the grass and spun into Groot. Just checked back. Yeah, Kevin went too wide into the corner and is speared into the side of the AXR cart. No damage for either, but I'm surprised Kevin has opted to keep the place, as upon reflection, that was probably his fault. Well, I guess that brings an end to that battle. The THG Nissan spears into the side of the AXR Saubert. They're at 115 for Tim. Please, Tim, I know you're not trying. Just for the love of God, end it for me, please. So you never know, come the end of the race, those 8 or so seconds that were lost in the accident could be crucial for AXR. We're in a podium fight. So perhaps being speared by an out-of-control car is not ideal. Yeah, as I mentioned before, it's all pretty spread out towards the back. They're all lapping each other back there. I do apologise, I will have to leave you guys for a quick break. Let's put the camera on TSO40. Alrighty. Whoa, that was some confusion between TSO40 and P1 Pilgrim just then. I'm definitely going to need something to eat and drink after this stint. Lap 121 for Timlor. Just under 9 minutes of racing to go. So there's not been really any movement. TSO40 still sits second. Rotary is about a minute 50 behind in third. Race Asylum, what could have been for them? It's been a horrific stint. Set in fourth. Horrific by what they could have done, that is. Kevin in fifth. Grew in sixth, perhaps incensed by what happened a few laps ago on lap 111. Or Kevin got it all wrong. Oh, just like he has now, perhaps Groot's going to get the place back. He does. Groot is probably sitting in his car quoting Fernando Alonso, saying karma. Here you go, Groot takes fifth, Kevin sixth. Thunderpig in seventh, Falcon in eighth. Calais, oh, getting it all wrong out of the final turn in ninth place. Hatton is 10th, Corey is 11th, and Pilgrim is in. He has engine damage, that'll be why. So what does he do? Is he opting for tyres or anything? He won't need fuel. Maybe just some tyres to drive around, have some fun, and go quick. Or is he just sitting there? Is he just waiting for it to end? That is not what the team who disconnected want. Because there's a team who've disconnected and they don't want you just sitting in the pits. I think if these guys sit in the pits, they're going to have to take the lap down from Corey or something. Otherwise, Pilgrim is just throwing laps away for the team who disconnected. And we don't want that, so he's moving now. Maybe the memo got through that probably shouldn't sit there screwing over the team that disconnected. But Timlor coming round the last couple corners on lap 122. TSO40 has done a brilliant job, but just couldn't hold a candle to Timlor in this stint. These two have been an absolute class of their own. They've lapped the whole field. Looks like FTR will take third on the podium. I think as it stands with about 2 stints to go, they'll be around 2 minutes off the podium. I think THG will have jumped into second. AXR will be third, about 2 minutes ahead of FTR. It's all still to play for, 6 hours still to go. Next up, I believe, is Mr. Slowly and Nano Maranello for the respective teams. So the fight for the podium is going to be close, and then I believe in stint 8 it is Rotary and then myself. So who knows, it could come down to a last stint shootout for third place. Thank you very much, Jerry. I've tried, considering I'm unbelievably tired. Sometimes I forget I'm in control. I think I'm watching the stream. Pilgrim did start moving a 3:08, 8, so yeah, about a minute extra wasted, which isn't good for the last place team. So Race Asylum, what could have been? They looked somewhat favourites for third place, but inconsistency has undone them. FTR probably just haven't had that couple of tenths that Race Asylum have, but they've been far, far more consistent, and they've got 17 seconds over them. And there at the chicane, Timler is there. So they're about a lap and 2/3 behind Timler. Where's Bobby? Bobby's honestly not far from getting lapped by Timler. He might. Bobby, Philo, I know, it's confusing. Groot still running about in 5th place. He sort of took that spot, or was relegated to that spot early on, and has just sort of kept it. That is Rotary coming up to lap Thunderpig for the first time. All pretty chill throughout the whole field. We were threatening with these two fighting, we were threatening with these two fighting. These two did fight, and it got physical sometimes. And then Kevin went off the road a couple of laps later. Timler now on to 125. And that is Bobby getting shown the blue flags. He will probably, Philo, whatever. I'm going to call him Bobby's on that account. Getting the blue flags, he might end up moving out of the way just so he doesn't have to do an extra lap. Because we have about 2 minutes left before Timler crosses the line. All pretty chilled out. I think we will just watch Timler take the flag. And again, it's gonna be 6 from 6, but Clockwork Motorsport are gonna win another stint. Can they do the unthinkable and win every possible stint? Of course, there's a handful of other drivers in the next race who are gonna have a say about that. I don't think Philo is gonna move here. I think he wants to do an extra lap for some reason. I'd have been jumping straight out of the way of Templar. But here he comes for the final time. Timler crosses the line. Who is going to be next? It is Callie. He will come home in 9th place. Who's next? TSO 40 and P1 Pilgrim. Well, TSO 40, very, very respectable drive. Not quite enough to match Timler, but he lapped everyone else. I got TSO 40 takes 2nd place. P1 Pilgrim has engine damage, so he's going to struggle. Who is... Oh, that's Kevin off the track. There's Groot and Corey. Kevin has lost out to Thunderpig. So God knows what's happened at the end there to Kevin. Rotary crosses the line, as does a Thunderpig. And then it's Kevin. Falcon comes across the line in 8th. And then it is just the MRC boys, Race Asylum, to come in 4th place on the road. So there you go, another victory for Clockwork Motorsport. So yes, this stream is basically done. If you head on over on the channel, the Stint 7 stream will be up. And yeah, thank you very much for watching.